Hello and welcome to the webinar, Swim Ahead of the Competition, Leveraging Software for Pool Business Success. We're still gathering in the final few members of the audience. We'll give them a few more seconds and we will start straight up on the hour. So bear with us for another 30 seconds and we'll get started. My clock just turned to the top of the hour, so let's get started. We have Jimmy Eish, Senior Director of Business Solutions at Pool Corp, with us today to tell us some important ways that our businesses can be improved through software. Jimmy Eish is a seasoned financial executive with a diverse background spanning audit management, business solutions, and corporate finance. He joined Pool Corp in 2021 following its acquisition of Pinch a Penny, where he served as Chief Financial Officer since 2015. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome, Jimmy.
Thanks, Scott. That was put better than I could have put myself. So good afternoon, guys. Scott introduced you, Jim, and I'm from Pool Corp, Senior Director of Business Solutions, and I wanted to take some time today to go through some of the software solutions out there and, how you really can leverage those for, your success in your business. And this is whether you're running a retail operation, service operation, a combination, and go through some of these tools that really can assist your business and how to take advantage of them. So kind of first up, I want to go through what we're going to cover today. And, at any point in this kind of webinar, I strongly encourage you to chime in. I believe there's a Q&A functionality that you can type your question to, and Scott will read through and serve those up. So if I'm talking too quick or I covered a topic that you want to dive into a little bit more, please pause me and let's go into it. It's more fun if I'm not talking at you for the entire hour and we're actually covering what everyone on this call actually cares about. So please use that feature. So kind of to start off, we're going to go over why software, and then we're going to go into the retail space and kind of cover how can software, really give you some advantages inside of the retail store, in addition to some general best practices on what makes a successful retail store combined with some tech. And then we're going to go in, we're going to cover the backyard, go in some services, how we can take advantage, whether you're cleaning pools, whether you're doing installs and repairs, or whether out there doing some of the other backyard services that I know we all offer in some of our businesses. And after that, I am going to leave some time for some Q&A. So there'll be some time to answer any questions that we didn't cover. So if I don't got any questions so far, let's jump into it and let's go through into it. So I wanted to start this webinar with why software, and I want to address what that means when I say why software. So, think to yourself, how many of you are currently using software applications to run your business? Or how many of you are actually considering bringing software to help you run your business? And ask yourself, why are you looking for software? Are you looking for software to solve a problem? Are you looking to save time? Are you looking to enhance customer experience? If you haven't signed up for any software solutions in particular, what's holding you back and what are you trying to solve for? And that's an important question to ask yourself as a business owner when selecting and identifying what software ultimately is going to help you succeed. So here's a quote here that I like a lot. It's kind of a short quip about software itself, but software isn't just a tool. It's the invisible thread weaving efficiency, innovation, and growth into the fabric of business operations. I like this quote because software in itself, software alone, typically isn't going to increase revenue. It's not going to increase profitability. It's how you use software that's ultimately going to enact those changes. So as business owners, our focus should be on whatever service, product, or solution, namely pool cleaning, pool repairs, a retail store offering, to provide to our customers and let technology assist us in achieving those endeavors. So it's really software's power and, kind of potential is unlocked when it's combined with a truly good operation. And then the other question of why software. So at Pool Corp, we're a distributor, and why is Pool Corp getting into software? And I want to give you guys some background into that. It's new into our business. It's no secret that we have our own, kind of series of software solutions that we're out there pushing in the market, and we'll touch on a few of them today. But the reason we're doing this as a distributor and why we see it as important is that a lot of us as a company, we sell a lot of the products that all of us on this call use every day. And at Pool Corp, we see the software as a way to truly elevate our industry as a whole. We can take our scale, our money, and invest in tools that can elevate the industry, that optimize different facets of business, that can help increase revenue with our customers. Because at the end of the day, we sell the products that are being consumed. We're not selling to the end customer. So giving you guys the ability to have increased foot traffic, increased marketing capabilities, ultimately, hopefully we benefit from it as well, but it elevates our industry as a whole. And we're constantly in communication, whether it's customers, employees, and other vendors out in our branches on a daily basis. And we hear some of the different problems in the different sectors of the country. And if we can invest in solutions to kind of eliminate those or reduce the amount of time that it takes to operate as a small business owner or a medium or large business owner, that's a huge benefit that I think we can assist with. So going into a little bit more, oh, I think I went too far. I'm sorry about this. So going into retail. So before I jump into retail, are there any questions so far? Anyone want to share any examples of how software has improved their business? Drop it in the chat and we can address. But first up, I want to start with the retail experience in a retail pool store. And I want to go through some, kind of base practices that you have in a retail space and what truly, creates a good retail store, and how weaving software into those practices, into that business plan, can ultimately take a simple retail store and create a more profitable, more expansive enterprise. So if you have some space, please drop it in the chat and let's discuss. So first thing, in any location, if I'm in a retail store, what's the first thing that I should consider? And that's market share. Own your market. Do you know what your market share is? Do you own your territory, or do others dominate in your market? So let's talk a little bit about what market share is and ultimately how we can calculate it. So market share is the number of customers divided by the total number of pools in your market. So a big kind of question is, how do I determine what the total number of pools in my market is? And you might be looking at me like, Jim, that's insane. I'm not going to drive around in a truck and count every single one of my pools in my area and then tally it up in Excel. No, but there are some important ways that you can start to arrive at this number, at the total number of pools in your area. First up, define what your service area is. If I'm in a retail store, it depends highly on what type of demographics surround my store. Am I in a very concentrated market, or am I in a more rural space? It may be 3 miles around my store because I am in a pretty tight-knit community. Or if in a more rural space, it may be 10, 12 miles around my store. So think to yourself a little bit and say, okay, what is the reasonable amount that I can expect customers to drive to my retail store to actually shop inside of it? From there, you got to figure out what is the total number of pools in your market so you can calculate your share. One way you can do this, and a lot of people don't actually think of it, is use your local government resources. In a lot of different municipalities and localities across the nation, pool permits are required. And if you're in an area where that is required, a great way is to go to your local county or local municipality's website and pull pool permits. Or if they don't have it online, stop by the local office and get the pool permits. This allows you to get an idea of what pools have been built in your market, what pools have gone under a permitted renovation, and allows you to start plotting on a map how many pools are in your defined area. You also can use technology to help you out in this space. There's a lot of online mapping functionality, Google Maps, flyovers. You can go through here and you can start to see, okay, I have an address that I think a pool's at. They shop with me. I want to verify it is a pool. That's how I can quickly go verify it. And AI is getting better and better at identifying some of these things inside of the mapping software. So it's important to look online and see what resources are available in your locality to see if you can actually determine, oh, there's X amount of pools around me. Oh, this mapping software, I can go through and I can fly over neighborhoods pretty quickly and get a general idea of, do I have 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 pools around my retail store? And then be honest with yourself. Track how many customers are coming in and out of your doors. Figure out how many you're actually serving to determine, am I a market share leader? Or is my market share actually way larger than I ever thought? And there's a lot of room to grow in my local area. One of the best ways to start doing this is using a CRM or a customer relationship manager product. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of these out there, but there are also several that are really specific to our industry. Utilizing one of these tools lets you track your customers. You get to know more about them. You get to track their information, but you're also plotting saying, this customer is my customer and they're doing this amount of sales with me. I now know my market share and I can determine, am I gaining share of my market? Am I losing share of my market? Do I have a market share problem? Because, and it's not always positive or negative. Look at it this way. If you have low market share, you have a huge opportunity to drive more traffic into your store. Now, on the other hand, may you go through this exercise and you determine, oh, I actually have a pretty high market share. I'm selling all of the shock and tabs that I possibly can, and there's no one else left to sell shock to. Well, maybe then it's time to look into some of those other backyard services or other offerings to keep the expansion of your enterprise going. It's totally up to where you're at in your business kind of life cycle. But there's always opportunity out there, especially in our industry. So make sure you understand what that opportunity is. Next up, and this is not so much about tech, but just basic retail. So a new customer is typically an expensive acquisition, whether you do it through marketing, whether you do it through sales, promotions. It's very hard to get a new customer. Not impossible, though. However, customers that coming inside of your retail store day in, day out, is much easier to convert them into more loyal, better customers. So frequency of visits is something that is crucial to the success of a retail store in our industry. We are a needs-based business. So, and when considering this on a daily basis, take a look around your store. Is your store inviting? Is your store clean? Is it well lit? Is it organized? Honestly, I'm asking a question of, is it a place that people would enjoy shopping in? Generally, customers, when they're spending money, do not want to step in a dirty, dingy, dark store. It might sound silly, but when was the last time that you looked up at all of your lights? Are they all working? Are they all the same color temperature? Do you have some dark spots in your stores? Or do you have a mix of fluorescent and LED lights that are causing basically some weird shadows inside of your retail space? That sounds basic, but it truly is extremely important, and it's often overlooked because we as humans we're creatures of comfort. We get used to what we see day in, day out, so we don't necessarily recognize what's going on inside of our home, if you will. Next up, look at your staff. Is your team greeting customers? Are they wearing name tags? You'll gain a lot more rapport with customers if they know you and your staff by name. If your staff knows them by name, and it's no longer, oh, the guy with the glasses and the dark hair walked in, but it's Jeremy walked in. And again, also look at how you're merchandising your store. Simple things. Do you have displays for your pumps, automatic cleaners? If you don't, get your sales rep from your various vendors on the phone this week and make them provide it. Selling off a cardboard box display is a lot harder than having the real product sitting there on a nice shelf or on top of the box. And I get that these seem like easy and kind of foundational things, but technology, again, is not going to transform your business on your own if you don't have that core value, that core foundation in place. So after this, I challenge each and one of you in here with a retail store to take a step back and look at your store from a different perspective. Maybe even have a close, trusted family member come in and give you their honest thoughts. Instead of getting defensive, listen to their ideas, because if they're thinking it, so are your customers. Another challenge is go in some competing stores in your area. Note down what you're doing well, note down what they're doing well, and note down what you notice they're doing bad. Make sure you're not doing those bad things inside of your own retail space. All of this is to start to create a positive retail experience for the customer. Now you might say, where does this jump into technology? So let's jump into technology. I got a great store. It's well lit, it's well merchandised. I have beautiful displays across my store. Customers come in and they have a happy, kind of experience. So where can technology take that store and take it even further? Well, I want to go over one thing I got in particular, and that is water testing and the water testing counter. So we all know that in this business, chemicals, especially specialty chemicals, are extremely high margin items. And this water test counter ultimately becomes the vehicle to sell these chemicals. I wanted to dispel a notion that I hear a whole bunch when I talk to different retail owners across the country, and that is the view that water testing in particular is a cost center on a business. A lot of times I have owners tell me, yeah, I get it. Water testing is great, but I use a spin disc and they're $2 and X cents a disc, and that's a drain on my business. Or I use titration and it costs $1 to run a test, whatever your cost may be. But it shows me that their frame of mind is that water testing is a cost center. What they're not thinking of is that the water test is actually one of the single greatest sales generators and profit centers inside of a retail store. Think about it. Customers come in, they bring their water to you, and they do a water test. Now, no matter what type of test they are running, that is a minute of uninterrupted time that you have with for the customer that you can discuss. Hey, how was Sally's T-ball game? You can get to know the customer. You can deliver that exceptional customer experience. And that creates that loyalty connection, that trust connection, where customers now, they feel comfortable coming into your store. They feel known. They feel taken care of, all while actually going through a sales process that ultimately is going to recommend them chemicals to buy inside of their store. So when you're running that water test, you have that 1 minute of uninterrupted time with that customer. This time is crucial. One, you want to learn about the customer. Two, you want to learn a little bit about their pool. And if you're using a CRM tool, like I'll be a shameless plug, POOL360 water test here, you're taking down that information so you're retaining it. But it's also a minute of uninterrupted time to sell. One, sell chemicals. They have a problem. They came in with looking for a solution and use the water test software to sell them those high margin chemicals and make sure they walk out the door with those chemicals. Because at the end of the day, no one comes into your store wanting chemicals. They just want clear water, and you have that solution. But it's also looking for other opportunities that they may have on their equipment pad, in their backyard, at their pool. Discuss with them how their pool is. They may have a big birthday party coming up in a month, and there's a light that's out that really means a lot to them. Or maybe they want to have that new automation system to show off to all their friends and family when they're at the next barbecue. This is the time to have some of those conversations, and it's a great way to turn a bi-weekly water test visit into a new automation sale right at the counter there. But that means that in addition to being able to test water, you also have to train those associates to have those conversations that suss out some of those problems or those desires that are going on in the backyard. So if you're looking at the screen here, there's a couple things that I want to go over. One is an upsell opportunity in a retail store. You're discussing, a cleaner unit. They say, oh yeah, my cleaner shot out. It's been great. That's why I've been shocking the pool so much. I need a new cleaner. I need to look at it. I'm really interested in maybe a Nautilus CC. Well, that's awesome. Instead of just going and saying, hey, here's the Nautilus CC, I'll take you with your chemicals and your water test and get you out of the store. This is an opportunity to say, let's upsell them. They might care about Wi-Fi. Have you heard of the Nautilus CC Plus? And the customer goes, no, I didn't know that. Yeah, you can look at it as an app on your phone you can download, and it's connected via Wi-Fi. That feature, that value can mean something to that customer. Look for those upsell opportunities and make sure you train your associates for that as well. It's important that our retail store associates understand that they might not necessarily be selling to their wallet. They need to sell to the customer's wallet. And a really expensive cleaner that an associate may deem frivolous in their own opinion may have exceptional value to another customer. So it's important to let our associates know about that so they can articulate that as well. Second thing is make sure your associates have a good idea of understanding cross-selling or companion products. You come through the water test, you get a water test, it reads out you have high phosphates, right? Typically the next batch is, well, we're going to recommend some phosphate removers to get rid of those phosphates. However, we all know that once we dump in that phosphate remover, the pool is going to get really cloudy and the customer is going to freak out. And we always say, hey, customer, when you dump this in, let you know, turn on the filter and run it. Your pool is going to get cloudy. Well, you also could take that opportunity to sell them some clarifier to make that cloudiness go away quicker. And understanding that cross-sell opportunity, the ability to have companion products and be able to articulate that to the customer increases transactions at the counter and ultimately increases our margin as a business. At Pool360, we've developed a couple tools to help you guys do this. You guys can see on the right-hand side, this is a 360 water test printout. One of the cool things we added here is the ability to work with vendors and showcase 360 exclusive deals. So if you get a water test printout, isn't it awesome if we have a $50 rebate on a Pentair and Teleflow 3 to be able to show that to the customer every single time they come in doing a water test? So if they're there on the day that they know that their pump is cavitating or it's making a noise and they know it's about to go out, they say, you know what, I'm going to take care of that today in store. Let's replace the pump. It's those type of opportunities to increase the ticket value, to increase the amount that customer spends with you at a retail store that we try to use technology to assist with. So it's not only about trying to sell more chemicals. It's about selling the right chemicals. It's not only about trying to upsell customers. It's sell customers what they're looking for to their wallet. And then also provide them with discounts and deals so that when they're looking for that solution or they're looking for that new equipment piece, you're there to sit there and say, hey, I got you, Mr. Customer. By the way, I can save you a couple of bucks too. But the biggest thing is, if you walk away from this retail experience on anything, is I want to dispel the notion that the water test counter is a cost center. And remember one thing, it is honestly the heart and center of your retail store. You want customers to come in happy, smiling, test their water, and leave with the solution they're looking for, because that generates your repeat business and that generates your average annual ticket per customer. And that is how you start growing your revenue in the retail space time and time again, regardless of economic conditions. So let's jump out of the retail space here and let's go into necessarily the service space. So the service space is an extension of the retail store, but it also is a totally isolated business. And the service space is pretty interesting. I want to go through some industry slides that kind of cover our industry as a whole, because it's important knowledge when preparing yourself for your service business. So servicing the backyard is a huge opportunity. And I'll go back to market share. Let's gain an understanding of what that market share for the service professional, for the contractor grade services are. So if you look at our entire industry as a whole, if you look at all of the 10.7 million pools or whatever it has you, pools that are out there built in our nation, approximately a third of those are serviced by a professional. So when you're mapping out your area, your trade area, doing that exercise we discussed in the retail section, about a third of that is your service opportunity. So an important piece of this is that if I have a third of my customer service are professionally serviced, understanding what products are in my customer's backyard is key. Our products are growing in kind of the complexity and also the technology aspect nature. So if you look at a pump today, it comes with Wi-Fi, it comes with Bluetooth, it comes with all sorts of things a single speed pump of 10 years ago didn't. Understanding how those things work, how they interact with Wi-Fi, how they interact with technology is crucial to service them efficiently and also sell customers the best product you can. This is another important note. This is our industry as terms of new pool installs on the top left side. So you see over the last, call it 10 years, on average, new pools installs were going up. And then the last, year and a half, they've been trending down a little bit. We had a huge spike in new pools construction in COVID, as we all know, and we haven't seen those numbers in a couple years now. However, it's important to note to the service trade, the numbers are still going up. So while new pool construction may not have been as high this year, there are more pools in the ground this year than there were last year. And about a third of those need to be professionally serviced. We're in a somewhat unique industry in that our industry grows annually, kind of regardless of economic circumstances. People are not rushing to go fill in pools so they no longer have to maintain them. Pools are being added on a daily basis. So that means that there are new customers in all of your locations on an annual basis, which means the market share for you to capture is always growing. So always keep that in mind when you're thinking of, oh, it's a down year. I understand that times can be tough and money tightens up and people get a little bit more, reticent with their spending. But the actual market share that you can capture is actually growing, especially in the remodel space. Pools are not getting newer without them being touched. They're actually aging every single year. So the ability to swap out an equipment pad or upgrade lighting or do automation or replace an old timer, that number is getting bigger by the year as pools age. So jumping back into the service in the local area, and let's go through what makes a good service company tick. So want to own your area. Back to that market share. I can spend a whole bunch of money on digital ads and tech tools that can drive traffic to your business. However, that's very expensive to do, and it's something that we do offer. However, do you have wrap vehicles in your market? Do your cleaning trucks and repair vans stand out so the neighborhood knows who to call? Do you have a QR code that links to your website so you're leveraging your own website so that when the customers see that nice looking van go down the street, they can request a service or learn about what it is you have to offer? While wrapping trucks may be expensive, it's literally the most eyeballs you can get in your local area on a cost per marketing touch point. And it's a value that typically well exceeds out the most thought out digital plan. Again, use tech as a good booster. Have a nice website, have that QR code, but make sure you have the foundation of that good looking truck that's generating those people to your website, to your landing page, to your get a quote, whatever tools you have created for your own business. And the other question is, are you involved in the community? Are you ensuring that people know you are the trusted expert when it comes to pool knowledge? Grassroots marketing tactics do work. And there's a lot of things you can do, and each one of your markets are going to differ slightly. But look at a bunch of different ways that you can create knowledge about your business, awareness about your offerings in your marketing, in your market. Whether it's Sorry, I'm jumping forward. Whether it's sponsoring an organization, whether it's a referral program of, hey, if you're a customer and refer a new customer, I'm going to give you a discount on this month's cleaning. There's a bunch of things you can do to get your general awareness about your business out there in your marketplace. And then ask customers for reviews. Ask them for reviews on social media. Social media is not going anywhere for better or worse. And there's a lot of different marketing tactics that are used on social media, but a really important one that people go check out is the reviews section. Make sure your reviews are good, and if you have bad reviews, address them. If you have a customer that says, hey, you did a bang up job installing that equipment pad. I love my pool. I love the work that your service tech did. Ask them, be direct. Say, hey, do you mind if you pop on Google and leave me a review? Because that review is there to stay. And then the next time a potential customer is on the web looking for a heater install or a pump install, they see that review. That might be the thing that tips them over to give you a call. You want to make sure that you're using every single avenue to get the customer into your business. So how can listeners utilize software to optimize these business areas? And I want to go through a couple of the different things software can do. But before we jump into that, Scott, I wanted to make sure, because I can't see, do we have any questions that I need to address? Is there any avenues that we need to go through before we go through service software and how to leverage it?
Yeah, I just had a question. What are some of the common pitfalls companies should avoid when they're trying to integrate this new software into their operations?
Oh yeah, that's actually a good one. So when you're looking at a new software and you're talking, let's talk about the one we just talked about, the water test. It's not the opportune time to integrate a brand new software on a Saturday when the line is 10 deep. Select your time and understand how much time it's going to take to convert to a new software. If you're using, pen and paper and you have hundreds of customers' names and numbers listed out, a good idea is to start preparing those in a digital format so you can get them into whatever software you're going to use. If you're going to go with a CRM, make sure you have the time to truly build out the data correctly, because one of the pitfalls of software is if you get lazy and you start just typing in gobbledygook to basically fill the field, if you will, when it goes back to actually use the software and leverage it to scale your business, you're starting with a bad foundation. So you really never want to start with a bad foundation. You want to make sure you have the time, the effort, and the focus to kick off on a good note. As you scale, data can get messy. Having data integrity and, kind of keeping data clean is something that we all can strive to do better. I get it. Sometimes you can't, but that very first initial push, that's usually the cleanest that data set is ever going to be. Take the time to fill out the data correctly. You'll reap the benefits in the long term.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Awesome. And that kind of segues into the service piece as well. So part of our business is inventory. We can't make any money if we're not selling pumps, cleaners, heaters, nets, brushes, chemicals, you name it. Make sure you know what the demand your customer is, sell what sells, and then you also want to optimize your revenue. A couple ways you can do this is that a lot of us being one of them, the distributors, they have their online inventory available. Ours is on pool360.com. You sign up for an account, you can see what is available at your local branch, you can see what is available at your surrounding local area. Make sure that you're selling customers what you can get your hands on. In addition to that, your pricing is there. So when I know what this heater costs me, when I go to quote what an install is, make sure that I'm tracking margin so I can actually get paid for that job and I'm not running it at a wash or at a loss. So understanding inventory, understanding margin, understanding that there's a lot of tools out there with a bunch of different companies that you can leverage to make sure you're making the most on that piece of product is crucial. Because at the end of the day, to the customer, they're not necessarily looking for a specific branded pump and model and make. They're looking for a pool that's clean, blue, and runs well, and they don't have to deal with. So at the end of the day, make sure that you're getting paid appropriately for providing that service. Because to the customer, it's more of a service than necessarily a product. Another big piece of the business, a big cost drain on a service business is kind of your depreciation, your fuel, your payroll, your time. It's the operation and the nature of running from pool to pool across different localities. The more time you have to drive in between pools, the more that truck is depreciating, the more expenses you have in gas, the more tires, brakes, everything else that cost of running that business starts to add up. Make sure that your pools are optimized in a very fast and efficient manner. We don't want to be doing zigzags. We don't want to be doing circles. We want to be going in a meticulous, organized fashion where we clean the pools along the fastest route. This not only saves time, but it saves a substantial amount of money. So use a route optimizing tool out there and make sure that the tool that you do use is not just tracking as the crow flies. We know that we're cleaning in these different sub-communities and communities that, it might be a mile away, but I might have 16 different gates I have to go through. And there's 5 people along the way that if I put into Google, I would be going to if I did turn-by-turn trafficking, but from a sheer distance standpoint is off. So make sure that your route optimization software is using actual traffic patterns and not just plain flight or crow flies. That can save you a whole bunch of money and mileage and expenses. Another piece is look at customers and make sure that you have profitable customers, but look at your employees, look at your techs, look at your service technicians and teach them, train them to use technology to look for opportunities in the backyard. If they're out there doing a weekly cleaning and they notice that the pump is cavitating, or they notice that the light is out, or that there's a problem with the timer, whatever that problem may be, don't just note it down and set it and forget it and figure the customer knows about it but doesn't want to deal with it right now. In all odds, the customer doesn't even know that it's a problem. They don't maintain their pool. They're relying on you to maintain their pool. So look for those opportunities and then offer the customer, hey, I was out there cleaning your pool and I noticed that your light's busted. I can come back out here. I can drop in the newest, Glow Bright or, Micro Bright that you want. I can run up a quote for you. Is this something that you're interested in? And being able to do that in the backyard while on the spot is the highest opportunity for success to sell that customer on that. So it's important that when I'm training my technicians to actually identify this stuff, utilize quoting and estimate features so you can actually get the quote to the customer. A great way to do this is use e-sign capabilities or contracting capabilities so that when your technicians say, hey, we're offering to do this, the expectation to the customer is clear and you as a business owner know what you're supposed to provide that customer and you're comfortable with the amount that you're quoting. That jumps into this page. So we'll go into a little bit of increase on price. But before we do that, there's a couple tools you can use out there to help you in your business run this sort of kind of on the site quote estimation. make sure that it keeps a couple components. One, make sure that there is some sort of e-sign capability. This is partly to protect yourself, but it's also to manage and maintain clear expectations. Make sure the customer knows what they're agreeing to, especially when it's just casually thrown together and, oh, I can take care of this next week. You're part of my normal service cleaning. All of a sudden, that can get a little bit muddy when the bill comes back for $1,800. So send that nice quote, send it to an email, get their signature. Another thing is, make sure that when you're doing these quotes on the spot, you're doing them in a profitable manner. Knowing what your local distribution or your local stores have in stock and what your price with them is crucial in order to quote accurately at a good margin. For example, you can see here, if I'm quoting a customer for a JXI 400, my normal selling price might be $4,900, but I want to make sure I check what my local distribution's price is and calculate that margin, because I want to know I don't do these jobs for less than maybe a 33% margin. Maybe your number's 40%, whatever it is, make sure that you're getting that margin and you have up-to-date pricing. The ability to be able to do this on your phone poolside is crucial because, as we said, the time to get that customer to agree with it is now when we're discussing it, not I'll send you a quote in the mail in 24 to 48 hours. We all know it. We have a tendency to say, yeah, send me an email. We get an email, and then it's kind of like, well, I'll get to that, get around to it later. Customers' behavior, this is just human nature. If you can get that to them now, you can get them to agree, you ultimately get the sale. So utilize software in that manner to help you close that sale in the backyard and know your margins while doing this. But another way that we can really use software to optimize our business is increase prices. It sounds easy, and I don't want any of you to like freak out and say, I can't increase my prices. My prices are what they are. My customers will leave. But take a look at it. Take a look at what your local market is at. Are you at market? Are you below market? Are you above market? Are your services that you are offering them at an above market level? If you're providing text notifications and you're providing emails that say, oh, the customer, we were here, we cleaned your pool, here's a picture today. Thank you so much. By the way, we noticed you have a crack in your skimmer, yada, yada. Those are the type of customer experiences that people pay a premium for. So if you start to offer these premium services, these premium experiences, you also should make sure your prices are at a premium. And we all know prices have been going up over it's now been 5 years with crazy inflation. Make sure your business has been tracking with that. If you haven't increased your prices in the last year or two, I can tell you you're probably underpriced. As much as customers will complain, the market has gone up. Make sure you are moving with the market and that you as business owners know what that market is. So don't be afraid of increasing your prices on the account that the next door neighbor is going to be stealing the business. Because if you have a core service offering that is a great customer experience, great service, and your technicians are taking care of your customers, they're not going to be as upset about that price increase. And I've said it a couple times now, but sell to the customer's wallet. Make sure you know whose pool you're cleaning and what their value for your services provided are. So I'm going to do a little bit of a shameless POOL360 plug here. POOL360 Service is kind of our new offering that we launched this year to help out the service business. And a lot of those, kind of technology tools that I discussed that you can leverage are inside of this tool. And it's important to understand how to use them to ultimately make your business more money. The CRM piece, whether it's POOL360 Service or it's any of the other service softwares, that's such an important piece. Start with that data foundation and build out your book of customers so you know who they are, where they are, you know about them, you know what's on the pad. Make sure you keep all that information down because as we know, as you scale your business, as you grow your business, you're going to have employee turnover. You're going to have customers come and go, and being able to already have that information at your fingertips saves you time, and we all know time is money. Also, make sure your technicians are using a mobile app. Make sure they're taking pictures and they're recording what they're doing out in the field. Make sure they have checklists. Make sure they're running through the appropriate checklist for the service that's prescribed. If you have a chem-only customer, they should really only be doing some chemicals and checking some core things. opportunities for upsell and moving about their business. But if you're a full service customer and you want them to be brushing the walls, you need to be checking the skimmer, cleaning the filter once a month, make sure that that's embedded inside the checklist so that those tasks are absolutely getting done. And then make sure you take care of marketing. Make sure that the end of your emails, so they're pushing some product offering that you have, or they're pushing more knowledge about your business, so the customer becomes a deeper customer inside your business. Again, it's easier to sell to the customer that you already have than necessarily trying to track down a new customer. And make sure that inside of the technology solutions, you have your business built out properly. So what that means is, if I'm a repair business, I'm a service business, I do cleanings and repairs, and I have a couple repair techs and I have 2 guys cleaning or girls or women cleaning a pool, well, make sure that I have those roles assigned appropriately so actions that can be taken with inside of software solutions are restricted in the manner that they should. A lot of companies don't necessarily want the woman cleaning the pool access to their pricing, restrict them from seeing their pricing. But to a repair tech, you may want them to have the ability to give estimates out in the field. Give them the ability to do that. So understanding how your business flows and how it interacts with technology allows you to leverage it and use technology at a higher level instead of just sending invoices and taking payments. And then also manage your administrative function. Don't give out admin access to everyone. From a cybersecurity standpoint, it's terrible practice, but also from a business practice, it's a terrible practice. You're not tracking every interaction that goes inside of your software. And if you have someone in there with admin access that's changing pricing, that's changing costs, that's changing, route structure, employee information, make sure that you're not giving the inappropriate people access to do that, because that can be a very costly mistake when you find out about it 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months down the line. It seems intuitive, but I see it happen all the time, and business owners pay dearly in these circumstances arrive. And the other piece is, make sure that your software solutions are integrated. So what that means is, I don't want to have duplicative entering inside of a bunch of different softwares. If I have to go to one piece of software, fill out my customer information, and then I have to go to another piece of software, fill out my customer information, and then go to yet another piece of software and bill them out of there, that is a ton of repetitive work that is not necessary. Make sure that as a software solution is a true solution for the way you do your business. Make sure that when I enter a customer in one software, it's inside the other software, and whether they're coming in my retail store or they're being taken care of my service technician or that they're on my website, I'm tracking where they are inside of my business, and I have every opportunity to sell them at the avenue that they want to be sold at. And that's an important piece of understand the way your customers shop with you and track that inside of your software solutions. There's a lot of capabilities inside of software and technology in general that are underutilized. And that's primarily because it takes time to build out from the initial onset to utilize them properly. A good investment into that software tool pays dividends in the future. A good investment into an ecosystem to run your business on pays huge dividends down the line, especially when you look to grow your business, when you're looking to scale. Because scaling your business from, 2 or 3 trucks on the road to 19, that doesn't happen overnight. And it's not from a lack of understanding of trial and error of how to grow that properly. One thing that you can use to help that be less painful is software, because the software scales with your business. When you want to open up that retail front, I don't have to go and type in a bunch of customer information. I don't have to go type in a bunch of new inventory. I have that information. Conversely, if I have a retail store and I want to start getting into the backyard services business, I already have a book of all my customers. I know what they buy from me, but I shouldn't have to go set up a software and now retype all that information over. No, have them connect automatically and integrate. And a big piece of our integration is the integration with POOL360. So if I'm going through the POOL360 online, all of the inventory that you need to sell a customer for their equipment pad, for their pool, to perform the service, gasket pump, you name it, it's there with your pricing. It's there with your local availability. Is there whether you want it delivered, whether you want to pick it up, whether you want it shipped, however it may be. it's inside of the software, and then quote the customers a appropriate margin for your labor and time on top of that to make sure that you are maximizing your profitability and make sure that that profitability is being returned to you by running your business efficiently. Make sure your techs are routing efficiently. Make sure they're using the tools out in the backyard properly. Make sure your customer's experience is up here and not down here so you can charge the highest in your market, not the lowest in your market. These are what allows you to scale your business. And it's some of the things that we at Pool Corp have invested a lot of, kind of industry knowledge into to try to assist in doing that.
Jimmy, I just got a couple questions came through. First of which, does the 360 system integrate with my e-commerce to help me purchase inventory?
Yes. So the 360 service and 360 e-commerce you log into actually with the same login, and anything you buy inside of Pool 360 or have is inside of Pool 360 as an item to sell. Your cost is there. And then when I showed, I think it was a couple slides back where you saw that margin ticker, that's automatically calculated. So I can set a retail mode of 5,000, know my cost with SCP or SPP is 3,000, and I can quote that customer knowing that I'm making good money.
Oh, okay. Another question is, does this integrate with Oracle and in parentheses NetSuite?
NetSuite. So currently we do not integrate with Oracle and NetSuite. It's something that we can look at in the future. We do integrate with QuickBooks right now.
Okay. Is there a GPS element to this?
So inside of the mobile technician app, it's linked with your Apple Maps or Google Maps, whatever your phone mapping is. That is from a technician standpoint, I can route pool to pool appropriately. But from I'm assuming the question is more about GPS tracking. We do not have GPS tracking available currently now.
Okay. Great.
So awesome, guys. Well, first off, I like to thank Aqua Magazine for orchestrating the webinar today. It's been a pleasure to share with you guys today. And the great thing about connecting here is, kind of the invitation to further connect. Now that you guys kind of know me from Pool Corp and, SCP, Superior, the Pool 360 ecosystem, reach out. I want to hear from you. We are new in this technology space. The water test we launched 2 years ago, and Pool Service we launched at the beginning of this year. We are at the ground level of what we have to offer, and we are looking for innovative, exciting ideas always to add to the platform. If you're a software utilization, if you're using the software and you have suggestions, you have ideas, kind of like the GPS thing, we will flesh it out. And if it's something that we deem as, hey, this could really help and we can pull this off, we'll add it to the platform. So I'm always looking for fresh ideas. You can see we're on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, whatever your social platform is of choice. Shoot us a DM. You'll hear back from us. I'm always looking to connect, and I'm always looking for ideas. And then I don't know if you guys have been following us, but we are raffling off a Chevy Colorado 24. And I think what I want to say, it's 6 days on September 4th. So if you have not signed up for the service software, I encourage you to go to our website, and it will be in the link. I think it's in the link already. And then give it a sign up. You can request a demo. We can give you a one-on-one demo, and that'll enroll you for an entry to win that truck on September 4th. The drawing to enter the rents ends on October 31st, so I do it in the next couple of days. There's no commitment or requirement at all. And if you are in the Tampa area, or you're in the Florida local area, we are going to be raffling it off September 4th at 12 noon. It's actually going to be at Superior, Tampa, which is at 8516 Sun State Street in Tampa, Florida at 33634. So if you are in the area, stop by at noon at Superior, Tampa. You can see me. I'll be there, a big conglomerate. My team will be there. The truck will be there. And we're going to be announcing the winner live. I think we should have some food and some music going on. So it should be a fun event. So stop by, say hello. I love to hear from you guys, and I love to see you. For those that are not in the Tampa Bay area, we will have a live drawing of the truck to see if you are a winner. And we're going to share that live stream here at the end of this so you guys can follow. So please enter, win, and best of luck to you on that one, because it's a pretty exciting truck, and I've sat in it enough times now. It's pretty sweet.
Sounds great. Jimmy, this was fantastic. I learned so much in the last 50 minutes, and I've got so many questions here. There's no way we'll get to all of them, but we'll do our best in the time that we have left. And then for any of the questions that we don't get to in the webinar, we will provide you, we have the information, we can provide you an email answer. So you'll get that afterwards.
Awesome.
But and you touched on this a little bit before, but we had someone ask, how does utilizing the software system enhance customer interactions?
So how does using the software system enhance customer interaction? So that depends. On the water test side, your customer's coming in, they're seeing you enter in your water test readings on whatever device you have, and then they're getting a professional printout with your logo, your name, their information, and then they're getting a prescription recipe on how to treat their pool. What that does is it gives them some accuracy and trust in the sense that, okay, I'm not just telling you to go dump these chemicals in because they're $42 a bottle and you're spending money with me. It's that I have a recipe, I have a dosage to follow to fix the problem I came in with. Now, on the pool service side, the interaction is more about communications. So when your techs go out to the field and they take that picture and they close the service, from there, they can generate an email that goes to your customer that says, hey, we serviced your pool today, we brushed the walls, we tested the water, we changed the skimmer basket, we looked at the filter, and here's a picture of your beautifully clean, sparkling pool. Seems silly because they can look outside and see their pool, but if you clean their pool at 9 a.m., and I live in Florida, it's been monsooning here. So if you clean it at 9 a.m. and it rains, they get home from work at 5 and their pool looks like garbage. Now they know that, oh, hey, it's not that they didn't show today. It just rained. They did come and clean my pool.
No, that makes sense. I've got several here about the whole water testing component, and I know that's super important to all retailers who are looking to maximize the impact of that. Let's start with a simple one. How can I optimize my water testing counter using this?
All right, so if I'm looking at a retail store layout, right, the first question is, where do I put my water test counter? And a lot of people would say right in the front because I want people to test water. That's actually counterintuitive. You want it in the back of the store. You want your customers to come in the retail store and you want them to see everything it is you have in stock to offer. You want them to walk by the toys so little Susie grabbed the toys. You want them to walk by the really cool automation systems that you have because that triggers them to say, oh, maybe I need that. Come to the back of the store, test my water. Keep a clean counter because that's a selling space. You're spending about a minute to a minute and a half of uninterrupted time with that customer. Don't let it be cluttered. Don't let it be in a back office where you're kind of crouched down. Stand up in front of the customer, test the water, and have a conversation with them why you're doing the test. Whether it's titration, whether it's a spin touch, whether it's an express flex, all of those work, and 360 integrates with all of them. But make sure you have the ability to communicate and converse with the client why you are doing that water test. And then make sure that the printout's color. It's silly, but color catches eyes. If you have that advertising banner that says you're running a $50 promo off of a Pentair unit, well, make sure the customer sees that. And by putting it in black and white, or it's coming out looking on a scribble scratch on a piece of paper, they're not incentivized to then scan the QR code and buy.
No, that makes sense. How much time should the water test take? Kind of on average, I think we're looking for, what sort of optimum might be there.
So that's going to be dependent on how you test water. So if you do liquid titration, which is your standard, kind of test block, and you're doing the drips, a really good water analysis can do it maybe like 2 minutes, but 2 to 3. If you're using a Lamont device, which is a spin touch, which if you're not familiar, it looks like I got one here, one of these right here.
Oh, yeah.
They take about 55 seconds. The Express Flex is one by Taylor. It's a strip load device, and that one takes about 55 to a minute and 5 seconds. So it really depends on how you test. So I always say like a minute to a minute and a half.
Sounds good. I've got a question here. It says, I'm thinking about implementing, but how difficult is it to implement this as far as, training and bringing everything on board and so forth?
So I can only speak to the 360 ecosystem, but whether you're a water test customer or a service customer, I have a team of, I think right now it's 36 individuals, don't quote me, they will work with you to onboard. So if you have data and you can get us the data, we'll load the data into your software platform. We'll convert that and make sure that when you log in, it's all there. So if it's a water test, give me your customer list. I load the customer in. We'll then hold a, if however long you need it, but it's typically about an hour call with you, any store associates that you want to bring, and we'll train you on how to use the software virtually. And then we'll also make sure all the accounts are built out properly. So we can do all of that for you, and we can provide as much training and support you need. And then from when you sign up to the software, there's a fully staffed support line that if you ever run into any issues, you call them, they can remote into the software. It's all included in the price. They can take care of data issues. It solves really any issue. They are at your disposal to use. And I want to say they're not just tech support. Say you're out in the field on the service software and you've run into a stain that you've just never seen in your market. I sit in on a what's it called, chemical distribution facility where we actually make all of the Regal, Easy Chlor, and Life brands. When we update one of our products into the software and the what's it called, dosages, we update in our software, but also I can connect you to chemical specialists who can tell you how to treat that stain properly. So you're not just getting tech support, but you're getting a whole bunch of just pool industry knowledge so that when you're talking with a customer, whether at the water test counter or in the backyard, you never have to say, I don't know. You can say, I can get that answer for you.
Makes sense. All right, Jimmy, I want you to focus on this one. This was kind of hard.
All right.
Here's the question. When is a door not a door?
When is a door not a door? That one I can't get.
When it's a jar. When it's a jar. I got that one. So I got you covered.
I appreciate you saving me from that one. I don't think I was getting that one.
Okay. Is this available in Canada?
So water test is available in Canada. So we launched water test in Canada. I actually was in the Niagara Falls Pool and Spa Show. Last year we launched water test. It's based on the Regal line in Canada. PoolService is not in Canada yet.
Okay. And here's our last one. And if you can't answer it, I can. Can I get a copy of the webinar after the webinar is over?
I am like 99.9% sure, but I'll let Scott handle exactly the logistics on how that one works out.
That is the correct answer. Yes. We will send those out to everyone who registered. Actually, I think that's about all we have time for today. I just want to thank everyone for coming, and especially you, Jim, for just explaining, I think, a simple, clear way to improve your profitability for business owners throughout our industry.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me, and you guys all have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for tuning in, genuinely.